everybody. This is Tam DeBolt and my co-host,
Caleb Clark.
And this is episode 22 of our web series called
Who's
Zoomin' In?
In?
Oh my gosh, 22, episode 22. We are talking to one vivacious lady today. I tell you what, she's got new things to announce. I'm excited to bring her on. So Caleb, before we get started, two things. Number one, what a fun t-shirt you have on.
Why, thank you. It is in support of one of my very favorite theaters in the Birmingham metro area. I love this t-shirt.
Yeah, I've never heard of that place. I guess I'll have to check it out. Yeah. Check it out. All right, so tell everybody why we do this.
Okay, so this was started because we miss our people. And we've got a pretty good feeling that we're not alone in that. So this is a great way to reconnect or stay connected with people that we already know and love, and also to make some new friends.
That's right. And because I tend to get out of control, Caleb always says that he's going to limit things I'm allowed to talk about. So what are some things I'm not allowed to talk about? I'm going to write them down so I don't trip up and make a mistake.
So we got three things today. Okay. The first thing is, so when I was thinking about, I thought to myself this morning, what are we not going to talk about? And this little voice in my head that sounded like Meryl Streep started singing, I don't want to talk. And so we're not going to talk about Meryl Streep's performance in the 2008 film Mamma Mia.
Got it. Okay, that's very specific. Okay.
It is very specific, but I felt like maybe we could get there. So it's also, we're also not going to talk about how easy it is to follow the blue ribbon of icing down birthday cake ice cream within 20 minutes of bringing it home from the supermarket. I don't want to talk about that. I really don't want to talk about it. And on a totally unrelated note, we're not going to talk about gaining weight during COVID.
No.
So,
nope.
Yeah, I just got, honestly.
I'm with you. This face, very familiar to the Birmingham theater scene. She has been performing and directing here for 15 years. She has had, can you see that?
Yes, who could it
She's
be?
had roles in Birmingham as diverse as Ula in The Producers for VST, and she has also played Yitzhak in Hedwig and the Angry Inch for the Danes Theater.
That's awesome.
She is a mom of two, and she got, before we start talking about why we have her here today, she got married 1 month before the world shut down.
Perfect.
February of 2020, 1 month before the world shut down. Wow. And she's here today specifically to talk about her new venture during the crazy last 12 months that we've had in our world. So into the Zoom room, please. Tawny Stevens, join us. Woo!
Tawny!
Hey! Hello! I really wish that I had a rolly chair. Has somebody done that yet? Where they rolled in? I feel like that's what it needs.
That's funny. That's funny.
I need someone to pick up that torch for me and just zoom.
We need to look into the logistics of shipping a rolly chair to each of our guests.
I did mention that you did something crazy right before the world shut down.
I did. I got hitched. I ran off to a courthouse and made it happen. What's funny is we were supposed to have a June ceremony, and everything was planned. It was booked. And he went ahead and put his house on the market after we had gotten engaged to see what happened. And his house sold in a week.
Wow.
And so he was like, let's just go ahead and get married. And then I'll move in and then we'll do the ceremony in big shebang in June. And so it was really kind of beautiful timing because we got married and he came and then we had to cancel everything anyway. So it was just kind of great because then we got to be quarantined together and start life.
That's right. So she's adjusted to that part of her life, new and exciting. And you also have two little ones at home. How is that adjusting to this craziness? Are they at home? Are they in school? What's going on?
Well, they are in school. It didn't make a lot of sense because Ace and I were still working. So we were around people all the time. It just didn't make any sense for them to be at home. So, they masked up and adjusted and made it work just like the rest of us have. And I mean, Mia, that picture was from the beginning of the year, and she is not even that little anymore. It's very weird in the tween phase where all of a sudden a teenager walks out of a room at you. I was not prepared for that to happen.
How have you been dealing with the lack of a theatrical creative outlet the last year of your life?
Well, what's funny, and not to get like super deep.
We'll do that later.
Well, I mean, this is as deep as we'll go. But many of you know Mike. Mike was my late husband. You guys were both great friends of his and ours. And when Mike passed away, theater had to go for the most part for me. I was a single mom without family in the immediate area. The reality was that doing a show would have cost more in babysitters than it would have paid. So like if I did a project in that time, it had to be like something I really, really wanted to do. So my time was very limited for theater. And that was something that I just kind of had to give up on to take care of my family. And what was really interesting was watching the rest of the theater world voice and experience what I had not really let myself feel because I couldn't. And so it felt kind of like the theater community caught up with me a little bit in my emotion.
Yeah.
And so it's been, I think the beautiful thing is I get to watch everybody find hope again, right? Like we've all kind of shut down and I watched them all feel that. And now I'm seeing like little hope springs coming up. It's been really neat to sort of collectively mourn with people that I love and respect and have gotten to work with and just see how we're all going to work together again sometime.
A lot of times when I think about Tawny Stevens, and this is a good thing, but I think about where you work, right? At the Starbucks. Tawny is like Starbucks lady of the theater community, right? She and Jill Pfister,
Right.
Always with the Starbucks. True. You told us at the beginning that this is actually not a present situation for you.
I did. I literally left 2 weeks ago.
And I didn't even know that until you told me earlier.
I guess I should have done some grand Facebook announcement or something. But I went out with a fizzle. I ended up on isolation. And so my whole last week I was isolated. So I didn't get to say any of my goodbyes. They made a cake and I just got a piece of it a week later. It was really great. I was a store manager for 2 years at the Alabaster location on Kent Terry Road. It's amazing. I built a team and I was so not a manager. Like that's not my skill set, right? I don't schedule and, look at P&L reports. It was so out of everything that I had ever learned or done. But I learned it. I learned how to do it and I did well. It was time to go. And I knew it was time to go. And especially in a COVID world, retail and food service in a COVID world is hard. It just is. And I get it. I get that everybody's struggling. But it was starting to wear on me a little bit. Like I'm an extrovert's extrovert. I love people. I love being around people. And
she's absolutely one of the best huggers I know. So yeah,
I
am. Champion level, Caleb.
I
love it. That's one of the things I miss the most. Is just being able to hug.
Gosh.
I know.
Yeah. And there was something else that was calling me into it. And I was like, this is why I'm not fully here anymore. So I will never have a bad word to say about Starbucks ever.
So the reason the big, enormous reason, two things, that Tawny's not at Starbucks anymore and that she is in the Zoom room with us today is because I want her to talk about this wild and new and glorious adventure that she has jumped into, the speaker and empowerment coach. What a great photo. Look at you.
That was taken by the amazing Jennifer Woodbury.
Great.
Who actually, do you know her?
I don't.
No.
Do you know Jennifer? Oh, and she's awesome. She's a Montevallo grad, so I know we have a lot of friends who are in the Montevallo community, and she works out of Helena. She does a lot of boudoir photos, but she also does headshots. So everybody, there's a Jennifer Woodbury plug.
Tell us about this new adventure. I want to hear all about it. I don't even know what empowerment coaches do or what life coaches do. Do that. And then I want to find out how it became what you're doing now.
Okay. So life coaches, let's say there's the basics of it is there's a place that you want to get to in your life, right? And there's a place where you are, and the life coach helps you bridge those two.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We help you take the steps from present state to desired state. Mm-hmm. And while you're taking those steps, we hold a safe space for you where we can envision that ending for you. Mm-hmm. And we help you do the internal work to get you there. Mm-hmm. So that's the basics. And so you're like, that's awfully broad. So there's 5 main areas that you can get a coach in. And the 5 main areas are health and wellness. So that's going to be a lot of your like health coaching, fitness, that kind of stuff, love and relationships, career, finance, and then spirituality, or what they call that, which is greater because it can have such a broad, spectrum for people. And so really, as you're going through courses and stuff, you're sort of fine tuning what you want to do in those 5 arenas, right? So like, which field do you want to play in? Because you don't want to, be a jack of all trades. You want to master one. To bring it all back to theater, that what I really love is not just being in front of people and speaking and public speaking in general, but also helping the people who hate it and who are uncomfortable with it and who have that I'm going to vomit if I stand up here in front of people and talk feeling.
There are lots of those people. Yeah.
There are. And we're in an entrepreneurial society, and we're in a place where people are taking a lot of things to social media. And so as far as the empowerment coach goes, I've decided that I'm going to work with women who have these great ideas, but who get anxiety around presenting them. And I'm going to help them learn how to unlock that voice and then feel really powerful when they stand and speak in front of a group. So it sort of combines all the loves, because I get to do the inner work, right? Like we get to go through identity and beliefs and what makes them feel like their voice isn't worth being heard. And then I get to go through the actual technique of it and talk about, diaphragm and support and breath and, how to tonal quality and pitch and storytelling. And it just takes all the things that I've ever loved,
right,
and been able to do, and it puts them together. I mean, it doesn't get better than that as a job.
On Tawny's website, where she says she gets her greatest satisfaction from leading somebody to a light bulb. She uses the word light bulb in quotes, a light bulb moment. But I thought, I wonder what Tawny's light bulb moment was. Like, how did you know that this is even what you had to do?
Okay. So first of all, I've been journaling around like quiet times and stuff, Bible reading, stuff like that. There's 13 years where I think the first one that I saw was 2007 when I went back through journals, and I have literally been saying, what am I supposed to be doing? Is it coaching? Is it speaking? Is it teaching? Is it like there was something, right? So I've been churning this over for years and years. And I started listening to podcasts on my walk when the world shut down. I decided I would walk and listen to podcasts because that felt really, I don't know, fancy. And so I started listening to this one, and it was this person who was talking about life coaching. And she was kind of like, I don't know, she really valued herself, which I think is great, but she was kind of a little stuck up. So I was like, well, that sounds fun, but I want to see if there's other programs around. And so I started calling around and I found this program, HCI. I wish you had that picture. It's on my Instagram if y'all go look. But I call this number to another school just to do this like introduction talk, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm talking to this clarity coach, and I'm talking through her about what the program offers and blah 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 blah. And I knew I was going to sign up anyway. Like as soon as I talked to her, I was like, this is the place. Like this is the one for me. And I sign up, and the month before, Ace and I, since we didn't have a wedding and we didn't have a honeymoon, we went to Nashville and stayed in a hotel for 3 days and got tattoos. That was honeymoon. And then the tattoo that we got was this. You see it like the infinity heart thing?
Yeah.
Can you see it? Yeah. Can you see it?
Yeah.
All right. So I sign up. First of all, I sign up. The class started on my birthday last year, right? So there I was like, bada bing, it's a sign. And then get it, and I click on the video, and their logo is like 4 of these connected.
Oh,
I know.
I love that.
And I burst into tears. I was like, this is it. This is what I was supposed to do. So, and the whole process has been like that for me, right? Everything has aligned.
Yeah. How do people sign up for sessions? Is that what you call them?
Yeah. For sessions, it's just so it's a matter of just getting in touch with me. Most people that I've connected with have DM'd me on Instagram. That's been like the biggest platform for me. They can also email me through my website, tawnystevens.com. It's really, it all starts with a conversation. It actually starts with a free session, right? Because not everybody's gonna like it. It's not everybody's I'm not gonna be a good fit for everyone, and they're not all gonna be a good fit for me, right? Like this is deep work that we get into. Like you unlock a lot of stuff that you might not have been thinking about. And so it has to be the right fit in order to move forward. So that's how it starts. They do a free one. And we kind of decide if this is a relationship that we want to start. And then the way that the program works is 12 weeks of one-on-one sessions. And then they can always prolong that afterwards if they want to go deeper in the work that they're doing. But it's a 90-day or 12-week program.
I think that it's been really interesting to watch different people out of whatever necessity come to the realization that, I know, like Tawny, you said you were reading your journaling and you were thinking, it's always been, what am I supposed to be doing? Teaching or what? And so many people have come to the realization recently that it doesn't have to be just like one thing. So much of your experience is being funneled into this. And I think that is one beautiful thing that's come out of maybe all of this, is that people have started to realize that to be an artist, isn't just like this prescriptive, I'm going to be an opera singer or a painter or whatever, or a coach or whatever. It is, what is my experience leading me toward? And I think it's awesome that you've harnessed that.
Yeah, good for you.
Caleb, I love that you said that too, because I think where artists do themselves a disservice is, there's so many of us that are like, this is all I can do. And they've literally decided that if they aren't X, Y, or Z, like if they don't hit whatever mark they think is out there, that they failed, right? That everytheverything's a failure. Exactly. And that's just not reality. And some of that comes with age too, right? Like sometimes you're like, you still, I pay bills, right?
Right.
But there is so much that can nourish those parts of you if you let them.
Yes.
But you have to be willing to let them.
Yes.
For sure.
And I know personally that your relationship with your God is very important, and your faith. And how do you fold? Is that all part of how you handle your mentoring and your coaching with your clients? Do you use that part of you?
You know, it's funny. It's so funny because, of course, because I can't not. Yeah. But I do have clients who are not necessarily spiritual people. And like, I've had some pushback from people sometimes just because that's how I present myself. And they're like, if that's what you're into, I don't want any part of that. And so I would like go to my client and be like, do you feel like I'm like putting this on you? Or, you know, and they're like, no, you're good. So it's just, I feel like talking about my faith publicly is important because at some point, like if you think you're getting somebody that's not a part of, then at some point it's going to come up and it's going to seem like I wasn't authentic with you. So I certainly want to let people know, like, this is part of who I am. Right. If that puts you off, I can't do anything about that. But if you're willing to work with me or see what I have to offer, then it may still be a great relationship for you.
Yeah, it seems to go hand in hand for me. I mean, I guess I don't, you can't really go deep inside yourself without looking up, you know, it's how can you not, right? I think they're so very connected.
I think that the important thing for me is that when I'm working with someone, it is not about my faith, right? It's everything that I do for them is about them. So they just need to know that they are safe to do and explore whatever they need to. And if their faith or not comes up, then I'm there to support and hold that space for them too. I have the ability to put myself on the back burner to hold the space for them.
This seems like such a great fit for you. I love this. I love this new venture. Tell our audience how they can find you.
You can find me. I have a website. So it's tawnystevens.com, which is TAWNY STEPH, like fat with a PH. ENS.com. I'm also, like I said, Instagram is probably one of the main places for me. And it's just Tawny Stevens.
So they can find you that way. Just type in Tawny Stevens. Okay.
Yeah. And I'll come up. And that's also where I do a lot of like, I'll do little pointers and fun quotes and things like that there too.
So now we're going to ask you 10 questions just to find out a little bit more about Tawny Stevens. All right. So I'm going to ask you the first one. You ready? Number 1.
I'm ready.
What's your favorite dessert?
Oh, my favorite dessert is pedophores, because when you eat them, the little icing crunches, and there was an Alice in Wonderland in 1987 where she ate the little cakes that look just like little pedophores, and I've been obsessed with them ever since.
We almost got to something we're not allowed to talk about.
Question number 2. Tawny.
Hey.
Dogs or cats?
Cats. I have a very fat cat named Charlie. Dogs are slobbery.
All right, question number 7. Yeah, I'm just going to skip a whole bunch of them. Question number 3. Do you still make a wish when you blow out your birthday candles?
Yes, and on eyelashes and in fountains.
Question number 4. If you didn't live in Alabama, where would you live?
Oh my gosh, there's so many places that I would live. I would go back. I grew up in Charlotte, North Carolina. Love Charlotte.
God.
Nashville's awesome. We have tons of community in Nashville. And of course, Houston. Loved the theater scene for the year we were there. Loved my best friend was there.
All right, question number 5. If you were only allowed to wear one color for the rest of your life, what color would that be?
Red. Because there was a casting director. I went to a cattle call audition and I was walking out and I walked into a new room and the director looked at me and he goes, dark hair, pale skin, red shirt. I remember you. Red.
Yeah. Question number 6. What did you collect as a child?
Rocks. They had the gems, like you would get them and I'd put them in my little individual like jewelry boxes.
All right, question number 7. Are you related to anyone famous? And if so, who?
Not really, no.
She hesitated though, right?
She did.
I hesitated. So the kids are related. Mike's mom was somewhere related to like Mary Todd Lincoln in some.
Oh,
wow.
I think.
So basically, you're related to Sally Fields.
Okay, yeah.
Question number 8, sweet or salty?
Okay, I like sweet, but I have a big pet peeve. As long as it's not salty that smells sweet. I have a very big problem with kettle corn. All right, I don't mind caramel corn and I don't mind popcorn, but I don't want it to smell like it's going to be savory and then put it in my mouth and it's sweet. That's deceptive, and I do not appreciate that.
Now, I think I might know the answer to the next question, but I could be totally wrong.
I'm excited to.
This is my last question for you, Tawny. Question number 9. Do you prefer musicals or straight plays?
Oh, that's really hard. Oh, that's really hard. Straight plays if it's Shakespeare done well.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'd have.
It's okay to love both.
I have a special place for both.
I love the she's given me.
I Shakespeare. Can we just say Shakespeare?
Yes, we can.
That is 100% an acceptable answer.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right.
If it's Shakespeare, it wins.
Okay,
Perfect.
good.
Okay.
All right, the final question of the list. Here we go.
Question number 10. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being a total snooze, 10 being a bag of laughs, how funny are you?
I think I'm an 11.
Good.
I think I am the funniest person ever. Have to find the people who agree with me to have a good time.
Right. Humor is subjective. Absolutely.
So episode 22, everybody. Tawny Stevens, speaker
Yay!
and empowerment coach. So check her out on her Instagram, on her website, and you can also find her on Facebook. So thanks for joining us, my friend. Good to see your face.